The two bishops checkmate is a checkmate that is pretty easy to remember once you understand the concept behind it. However, still many chess players simply don't take the few minutes to learn it. It can be extremely useful in the case that your opponent sacrifices a piece to stop your final pawn, leaving you with no pawns left to promote. The main idea between the two bishops checkmate is to use the bishops to drive the opponent king to the last rank or file of the board, and then use your king and bishops to drive it to a corner, or it can be checkmated. The two bishops checkmate, unlike some of the others, is extremely hard to describe without showing examples, so that will be the main format of this. In this example, the black king has many squares to move to, and none of their pieces are close to it, so the first thing you want to do is move your king to a square closer with king to d2. As I go through this example, I will be playing the best move for black according to the computer. Here, the best move for black is king to e6, moving away from your king. The most logical move now for you is king to e3, moving one step closer. Now black's best move is king to d5, trying to move away from the back rank, and now you should play bishop to d3, making sure that the black king can't come any farther from the back rank by covering the c4 square. Black now plays king to e5, trying to stay far away from the back rank. Now you should play a classical move in the two bishops checkmate, which is commonly used to push the opposing king back, which is putting your bishop between the opponent's king and your king, which in this position is bishop to e4. Black is now forced from the fifth rank and plays king to e6, which will be met with king to f4, bringing your king a square closer as usual, while also not blocking your dark square bishop like king to d4 would, though either will obviously eventually lead the checkmate as long as you don't exceed the 50 move rule. Black now plays king to d6, trying to get away from your king, but this doesn't work because both your bishops are working together to create a wall that the black king can't pass. So the best move here would simply be king to f5. Black is now forced back another rank and plays king to e7, and here you should activate your dark squared bishop while blocking black's escape square on d6 with bishop to c5 check. Black obviously will try to run away from your king with king to d7, but now symbol king to e5 is the right move. You can notice a pattern here with the white king. The white king is always trying to move to have opposition with the black king, while also creating an impermeable wall with the bishops on the other side of the opponent's king. Black, on the other hand, constantly wants to run away from your king while staying on the same rank, so in this position we'll play king to c7. In response, you should play king to e6, because king to d5 would block the light squared bishop from blocking black's escape squares, and king to e6 also closes in on the black king, sandwiching it between your bishop wall and the king, which forces it back to the 8th rank with king to c8. Now that you have pushed the black king back to the last rank, the goal now is to keep him there while moving him to the corner. In this position, bishop to b6 creates an x-ray with your bishop, so that the black king's only legal move is king to b8, which is a step closer to the corner. Now you just need to bring your king in for the final checkmate. So king to d6 would be the right choice. The only legal move for black now is to go back to c8. Once you get close to checkmating, the only thing you have to watch out for is a stalemate. In these types of positions, the black king normally only has one legal move, so make sure you don't block that square off. Here the best move is just king to c6, moving one step closer. Black, of course, has to move back to b8. Now that your king is covering b7 instead of your light squared bishop, the best move will be bishop to f5, finally completing the black king's journey to the corner by making its only legal move, king to a8. The position for your king, in order for your bishops to be able to checkmate the black king, is either directly opposite the king in the corner, which in this case would be a6, or next to that square, which in this case is b6. So to make way for your king, you have to move your bishop anywhere on your current diagonal. Here you can simply move your dark squared bishop to c5, but moving it all the way back to g1 would work as well. Black is forced to move back to b8, and now as discussed, the best move for the white king is king to b6. Black again moves back to a8. Now you have to remember what I said earlier about not stalemating, and instead of immediately playing bishop to d6, play waiting moves such as bishop to e6. Now when the king moves back to b8, you can play bishop to d6, but now it comes with a check. So when the king moves to a8, bishop d5 will be checkmate. This checkmate is fairly simple in theory once you learn it, but you may have to watch this video again to fully grasp how to force the black king where you want him. Make sure you revisit this video from time to time, because you never want to have to accept a draw from a winning endgame.